I'm making a big pile of it. I'm going to take cad yellow. Look at that. So that's my medium orange. You could use, if you would rather use cad red, you can use cad red. If you have your own tube of orange, you can start with that. Here, this is my medium. Now I'm going to mix up my light. I'm going to pull some over here, and I'm going to take my cad yellow and mix up a lighter version of it. So I have a light, dark, or medium. Now I'm going to mix the dark, and I'm going to take even more cad red. And if it's not drab, no, I'm going to keep it that way. That'll be your shadow color. That's your medium and your light. Now, if you have new gamboge and you want it brighter, pull that aside over here. But everybody should have cad yellow, alizarin crimson. Those are two colors that I use. But if you have some of the brighter colors, go ahead and use them. Now I want to keep white paper. So I'm just going to go in with my new gamboge. And I know the lightest part is right here. So I know I want some yellow here. And I'm going to kind of paint around a white area. It's going to have a highlight here. Remember, I can always darken. It's hard to lighten. So there's going to be a strong highlight there. I'm going to do that again over here. I'm going to put some of this new gamboge or lemon yellow or your brightest yellow, because it's going to go from white to yellow to orange. And I'm going to put a little yellow over here. Leave that a highlight. Now this is a made-up design, so I don't have an original, well, I do have an original picture there. So these are all, that's going to be my strongest. I just want to soften that white. So that's the strongest highlight right in there. All right, I'm going to take that new gamboge and that lightest yellow, or lightest orange, and I'm going to start working from the bottom on up to that light area. Ooh, that's all my medium, losing my light. I don't want to lose all that yellow. So I'm blending this yellowish orange to that yellow. My red mixed in with my light. So I'm getting some more cad yellow here. Okay. Oops. And if you get it too much, be ready to blot it. Oops. Okay. So I'm still working with that bright orange. I'm just going to follow around. Now it had cad orange in it with with the light orange. If you lose it like I did, just add more cad yellow. It's the stem. I can work in there a little bit. Remember, this is going to be green, so it can have some yellow in there. That way it doesn't have any hard edges. Oops. And you can see where the purple is, it automatically creates a nice shadow. Okay. If you're losing some whites, you can blot it and soften it with your tissue. And if you feel it needs white anywhere else, just blot it. Maybe a little bit right in here. I'm moving on to this pumpkin while this is drying. And again, I'm going to go with my quinacridone gold. And I want to paint out my whitest area. So I'm going to paint around here because the light would be hitting here. That red's overtaking my palette. I'm going to move this. Okay, so I'm coming down in here. Just kind of. Even though light might be hitting this spot, it wouldn't be as strong as over here. And okay. Okay, so I'm taking my light color still, the New Gamboge and the light orange with the cad yellow. And I'm just going to paint this in. And I'm going to go ahead and paint this one in. These aren't in the direct light, so I don't have to worry about any white area. Okay, I'm jumping over here because I want this to be fairly dry before I put in my darks. So I'm going into my cad yellow to make that light mixture still light. I don't want a strong orange yet. Maybe no, I don't want any highlight there. I'm gonna go over here. I'm not using the tip of my brush. I'm kind of laying my brush down. And I'm going to blend this on out. I want it light because the light might be hitting over in here. Okay, keep with that. I have a nice puddle here, jeez. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and and if you cover up your white area or light area, you have your tissue to say, oh, I think I want a little bit of highlight right here, and just bring it back. Okay, and I think I'll soften this one. I'm gonna add some water there. Just a little. Okay. The color over here a little bit, but that's why scrap paper is nice to keep to see if that's going to be dark enough for you. And I see it dark enough because I could always darken it after this dries. I just don't want to lose this light, this medium, but I'm now going to put in this dark. Okay, scrap paper is important. All right, I got this big puddle now. So I'm going, and this is where 2 brushes come in handy. Okay, so I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to start just pushing it up. But again, I don't want to lose all this, so I'm going to just take my damp brush, just got a little bit of water, and I wanted the water to draw it up. I'm going to take this, and I'm going in the shape of the pumpkin. I'm going to take a damp brush, and I'm basically pushing that water into what I just painted. Be careful not to lose your highlights. Okay, I'm going to take my dark. Now this had more of the violet over here, so it's even making that orange look. You can go outside the line because those are supposed to be more pumpkins underneath there. So before this dries, I'm just making sure I don't have too much water on my brush, pushing that back, pushing this back. But I wanted to make sure I didn't have a hard edge right there. Remember, if you play with your paints too much, you're disturbing the layer underneath. So if you can just put that color down and be done with it, that's good. Now I'm going over here. You can use your other brush like a sponge and just pick up a little bit if you put too much down. Need a break? Okay, I'm going to continue. This is the darker area, so I'm going to put the color there, work it around. I don't want anything to look outlined. Oops. Taking my other brush. having some variation in color helps to make it look more realistic. This is too much water coming back and it's creating a bloom. If you do not want that, take a damp brush and just go over it lightly. But sometimes in some paintings, that creates interest. So hopefully that will correct that. I don't necessarily want blooms on my pumpkin. Okay. I'm going to come back and continue with these pumpkins back here. These are pretty much in the dark because they're further back. And you can see how that violet automatically creates that shadow. This is my second brush. I just want to blend that out. I don't want that real dark. Let me go right here. And you can see that big puddle of orange that I had on my palette is getting used up. That's why you want to make enough paint that you don't have to stop and mix more. Whoops. Okay. Left to right so I don't stick my hand in the paint. I'm going to take my orange because this is bent down a little or curved inward toward the stem there. Take my second brush and I just want to blend that out. And I want some of that orange, even though I'm going to create some green here. It just gives a nice gradual transition. Whoa. Okay. Now remember, this is my lightest. The light is really hitting right in here. And you can fine tune all this after you get most of it in. Okay, I'm going to work on these pumpkins in the back. This one first. You can paint the whole thing, and if you feel it needs a little bit of highlight, use your damp brush just to pick it up. I want this one dark. It's further away. Yeah. See, I'm messing up that purple there. All right, I'm going to have to mix up a little more color. Okay, ready? All right, I'm going to go back in here, back in here. See, the contrast from this dark against this light just makes this look brighter. Take my second brush, damp, If it's too much water, you're going to lose control. And I'm just going to soften this edge, bring it up to the light. Okay. Okay. So can you see the light, the lightest, the light, medium, and it just gradually goes to dark. So I did the white, the yellow, and pretty much the medium to dark, and now I'm going to leave that rest and mix up a nice dark and put dark where I need to put it. Using transparent orange, it's not an opaque color, it will brighten it up. And it's showing the layers underneath. So if you like to work with vivid colors, you don't want CAD colors. You want to keep transparent colors. But I like opaque, so let's let that dry. I'm looking here. I want to push this pumpkin forward and this one back. So this needs to be darker. I'm going to darken in here. So I'm going to kind of focus on this corner. So I'm going to take my orange. Let me just see what burnt sienna is. A nice color, and it's more brown because I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to paint that in here. That might have been a mistake. That might be too vivid. So I'm going to stick with the colors that I have. Maybe take a little of that burnt sienna and just mix it with the colors that I'm using rather than changing the color. I'm going to darken in here. What I'm trying to do is push this pumpkin forward. I think maybe this should have had more purple, I think. I'm going to see what happens with, don't be afraid to experiment. I'm going to take that more vivid orange and brighten this up. And see if that will brighten that up and push this back. Yeah, I like that better. Am I playing with it too much? Maybe. Okay, I'm going to take some more cad yellow. I just want to take that lighter color. I'm trying to keep this one lighter than that. I just don't like this. I'm scrubbing it a little bit. How's your arm? Okay. If you're working on good paper, you don't have to worry about destroying the paper yet. Okay. Okay. Okay, they will all probably have sap green or hooker green. So I'm going to take some of that with my, if you have lemon yellow, start with that. If not, go with your New Gamboge, if you have that. I'm trying to stay away from the opaque color because this is the first layer. And oops. And I want to just lay that down. The brighter side's going to be on this side because of the highlight, the sunlight. And I'm taking it down into that orange. Look at the blend of those colors. And there was some shadow on this side anyways, so it's already darkened it. And the inside of the stem is usually kind of creamy, so I'm just going to take a little bit of the orange. Dirty orange. Nope, no, I don't like that. I'll take burnt sienna. Yep. I've got green on my brush. I'm leaving that alone for now. Okay, to darken your green, you're going to take your sap green and ultramarine blue. That'll darken it. Or you can use your violet color that you started with. Either one will work. I'm going to put the darkest right under here. I don't want to lose this pretty orange here, so I'm staying away from that. And I'm just going to streak it down. Okay, and I'm just leaving that alone. I've got to decide what color I want there. Oh, I'm taking, if you have yellow ochre, that would work. Kind of a creamy color. My pencil lines are too dark. And a little bit of violet. There's the violet. Okay, let's just leave that alone. So basically, I'm just getting some green in. The orange that I brought in there is kind of changing the stem a little bit there. I like that. So you don't, I don't want it to look like a coloring book, like I've stayed right in this line. I want those colors to mingle. All right. And you can bring in, ooh, I like what's bleeding there. You can still use your brush to pick up lines if you want, just to streak in, you know, they have texture. I might scrub that a little bit. If the green goes on the pumpkin, that's okay too. So, all right,